everybody, it's Wootini from GayGamer.net, here with another one of my weekly podcasts. Can you believe I've been doing them every week? Haven't missed one yet. We'll see if that keeps up. This week, I have not started any new games. I don't have anything new to talk about there. But there are a couple things I wanted to talk about that happened this weekend. First, I went to a hands-on event that SEGA threw at a local hotel here in New York City to get my hands on the new Captain America and Thor games. Now, while I would, of course, much rather get my hands on Chris Hemsworth or Chris Evans, I'll play the games. Basically, they have the 360 and PS3 versions are the same. Then there's Wii versions, which are, you know, completely different games, with like slightly, like, you know, more of a comic book cartoon feel to them, so they're like a little younger skewing. And it's a completely different story and completely different controls and everything because it's the Wii. And then there's the DS versions of each, which are, again, also completely different. They're like side-scrolling and whatever. So, I have to say that I wasn't expecting much because they're just movie tie-in games, and you're like, eh. Thor looked really cool. You're fighting lots of, you know, big, giant... The bosses are immense and ridiculous. And that's more of like a beat-em-up with lots of button combos and stuff for your different powers and abilities. But I actually kind of really liked the Captain America game. I played the 360 version, and it kind of played like Arkham Asylum. Which, when I mentioned that to one of the... I think he was a producer on the game, he seemed to look a little offended, and I'm like, no, that's a compliment, that's a great game. I don't mean that they were ripping off Arkham Asylum, it's just a little similar in execution. You have, you know, a Hydra base, it's massive, you explore it, and each section of the base is its own little, you know, mission. So it's kind of the same kind of feel. And you just run around and you beat the hell out of Hydra Nazis and do stuff. And there's some acrobatic stuff and some combat. The combat felt really fluid. I was pulling off really amazing moves without even being told what button does what. And the platforming stuff, he's very acrobatic, that Captain America, as it turns out. And that was actually also fun. Not so good at platforming, but it's very like automatic and it's relatively easy. And they do some creative stuff with, like, you know, breaking codes and setting off bombs and things. I kind of liked it. It was interesting. So that one I might almost be looking forward to. Just like I'm also looking forward to the Captain America movie more than I'm looking forward to the Thor movie. Although Thor still also looks kind of good too. But Captain America looks actually good. And then we'll see if they can actually pull off an Avengers movie and make that good. Because I'm just afraid you're going to end up with a too many cooks spoiling the broth kind of thing. And then the other thing that happened this week, you may have seen, I posted an article on the site, and then I tweeted about it on Friday night too, to remind people. Street Pass New York City put up their they held their first event in Union Square Park, and the weather did not cooperate. It was kind of drizzly and cold and windy and gross, but there was still a heck of a crowd. And I was there for like almost an hour, I think, and it was like 45 minutes to an hour, and by the end of my time there, it was a little after 3. It ran from 2 to 5. I couldn't stay for the whole time, which, as it turns out, I'm not so sad about, because by the time I got home, it had started pouring, so I would have been like stuck in the park with all these people, and it would have started pouring, because it was really hard to like kind of hold your umbrella like this and play DS and try not to get it wet and everything. But at one point, the sun didn't come out, but the rain stopped and it got a little bit brighter. And everybody, you know, it was a good-sized crowd, and there were a lot of people who were just, you know, street passing left and right. I finished 2 puzzles. I finished the Metroid one and the Zelda one. The Zelda one is amazing. I recommend finishing that one. That's a good one. And I got a bunch of people to do the Find Me, so I made it through a couple more rooms in that. The problem with that is that a lot of people, they like to wear the black shirt, and depending on what color the Mii's shirt is, that's their magical ability. And a lot of people will choose the black shirt, and I wanted people with red shirts or the blue shirts because that is a fire attack or a water attack, and because sometimes you can't use your sword on the armored enemies because it does no damage, so you need magic, and I was getting all these street passing all these people, but they didn't have the abilities that I needed them to have. Also, with the Find Me thing, it's not like there's instructions, so you're just kind of winging it and you learn as you go. But it was great. Everybody was street passing. I picked up a whole bunch of new people that the next day when I took, when I played Nintendogs again, met a whole bunch of new dogs, bunch of new breeds, got a bunch of presents. I also got a crap ton of Street Pass in Street Fighter 4. So I did a bunch of figurine battles, and I think I won maybe like 60 to 75% of them. I did pretty well, because I had made a point of like trying to arrange a really good team before I went there, because I didn't have that great, and because also a lot of people are downloading, they're using the codes that they're finding online, because you can get them anywhere, like GameFAQs or whatever. Like a lot of websites are printing the codes, and you can get these like high level, high power characters, and they're like super strong, and I don't want to do that. Like occasionally you'll get a spot pass email kind of thing on your 3DS from Capcom saying, hey, here's a code, get this extra character. But somebody has all those codes and they've put them on websites, and like I'll get them if Capcom sends me a code, I'll download that character. But I'm not going to a website and typing in like 8 different passwords to get these different characters, because I feel like that's cheating. And I don't want to cheat. I want to make I want to make a team out of the characters that I've gotten legitimately. So my team might not be that strong, but it does pretty well. Certainly it does a lot better than if I was to actually play people in Street Fighter, where I would just get my ass kicked. It was kind of hard. I didn't really want to play games with people because it was really cold and my fingers were going numb, and then it was mostly raining most of the time. So, but it was a really well populated event. A lot of people came out. There were some people from Nintendo Week there with a camera, and they were interviewing people and taking footage of it, so that should maybe show up on the next episode on your Wii. And he's already planning one for May. He just needs to settle on a location. And I think it's great, and I encourage all of you out there in your own cities to do the same thing. He has a whole Facebook page set aside. There's a whole Street Pass NYC Facebook page, and you could go there, message him, and he'll tell you how he set his up and maybe give you some pointers, because honestly I wouldn't know the first thing about how to get started and like get people involved in such a thing. But by all means, create the same kind of thing in your own area, because, I mean, even in an urban area like New York City, I street pass maybe 1, possibly 2, 3 at most a day on the subways. But something like this, I got like 40 people. It's great. So I encourage everyone to organize your own events. Have Street Pass LA, Street Pass Tampa, whatever. I don't know where that came from. Anyway, because it's a lot of fun, and you can meet like-minded gamers, and you can street pass people and get free stuff in your games, and, it's fun. And I got to chat up a cute boy while I was there, so that's always a bonus, right? And it was fun. So, I'm looking forward to the next one, because hopefully I want to use the big AR card to have my Nintendog be like actual size, but he couldn't really put the AR cards. It was laminated, but it was raining, but it was really windy, so like even though the lamination would have helped protect it from the rain, it was really windy, and so we couldn't like tape it down or anything, so we didn't really get to use the big AR cards, alas. So I want to go to the next one so I can try to do that. Anyway, that's it for this week. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will talk at you again next week. Bye!